Hi, welcome everyone. It's Dr. Gage here, and I'm going to be your instructor of record for the course Medical Cannabis. And it's going to be 100% online, not live like I thought it was going to be. So uh, it's being recorded. I hope that you get the recommended book. Let's see here. Can we see? Can we see? Yes. The Science of Marijuana. I hope you get this book. It's not mandatory, but the classes, the exams, it comes like straight out of the book. So like if and the exams are open note an open book. So it's a nice investment. You can get it online for free. So if you want to read like that, that's also fine. It's up to you. So let's delve into this. My name is Dr. Margot Gage. I already told you that it's in the syllabus. I chose to do a pizza background for our first lecture because why not for medical cannabis? Let's keep this class light. Let's have a bit of fun, but at the same time, really learning the truth behind the plant. That is the aspect, the main goal of this course is to bunk the myths and really teach you about it. So I'm going to share my screen and I want you to go over this PowerPoint lecture with me. So this is how we're going to run it. You're going to get a folder each week. You're going to look in your folder, uh, check it out, do your work that's required. I will have a few live lectures as well to help you get through the research project and the oral presentation. This course is designed to provide you with a lot of content, a lot of information, but I want you to do well. So I will be there for you every step of the way. We will get through this. Do not get intimidated. Usually this course is always run face to face. I have guest speakers come in. It's very interactive. So this time it's a little bit different because it's on Zoom and it's not a live Zoom course. But I want to still keep the the level high of making, no pun intended, of making it a very interesting course that really reaches you. So if you have any friends who are looking for an interesting course and really want to learn the facts about medical cannabis and just marijuana and hemp, then tell them to sign up. It's not too late because we're just getting started. So let me just share my screen. Let's see here. And let's start with this blah, 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 blah. Let me go where. Okay, you should be able to see the PowerPoint now. And marijuana and medicine. So uh, I started this class about 3 years ago, was the first time I ran it. And it, of course, generated a lot of interest in the local community. So a lot of my students were interviewed about the course. It made the Port Arthur News, and there was a on 12 News Now. So those links are links to where you could find at that time the the um, the news reports on this class that was coming to Lamar. So we were very cautious to do it justice. I was very cautious about that, and my students have done a wonderful job. We have had some very interesting people come in and speak, and we have learned a lot about this plant. There's been a number of students across campus who learned a lot about this plant. Um, some things to know. Marijuana is among the most widely used of all psychoactive drugs. Don't let anyone else tell you differently. It has been widely used for a very, 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 very long time. The Netherlands, which is the country that I have a big connection to, I've spent on and off the last 20 years there. My children are half Dutch. I still go there regularly. And they are the ones, this country are the ones that first started separating, so looking at cannabis differently from hard drugs. So, like your crack, cocaine, heroin, all that stuff. And then marijuana, they separate it. America keeps it all together: crack, cocaine, heroin, marijuana, all the same thing in the eyes of the law, in the eyes of justice. On the federal level, for a very long time in America, we all know that you have people who have been getting who have had life sentences for marijuana. So The Netherlands was the first country that pioneered separating those two. So the US federal government classifies cannabis as a dangerous drug. That is starting to change. But every single time that we have had this course, that has just been, that is what it is. So it means that it's no current accepted medical use and it's a potential for abuse. So they've got marijuana in there, they've got heroin in there, LSD, ecstasy, peyote, those are all on that list. Schedule 2 is where you have a high potential for abuse, and you can also get psychological dependence. So that's where they have Vicodin, cocaine, methadone, so Ritalin, Adderall. So these highly addictive, highly dependent drugs that get you highly dependent are in you know these Schedule 1s and Schedule 2s, when we know that and science has proven that that's not the case for marijuana, but it has been a history of viewing marijuana in that way. Then Schedule 3 is moderate to low potential for dependence, and that's like Tylenol with codeine, ketamine, steroids, things of that nature. Schedule 4, low potential for abuse and low risk of dependence. That's your Xanax, Tramadol, Valium, Ambiens. I can tell you, I know people who have been addicted to Xanax. I didn't even know that that was a thing, but they were. It's been a very, very, very hard time to kick their Xanax habit. So it's just surprising that they put, marijuana so high as compared to something like Xanax or an Ambien or Valium or Tramadol for that matter. In Schedule 5, drugs consist of preparations containing limited quantities of certain narcotics, for example, Robitussin, cough syrup. Okay, so let's look at drug overdose involving deaths. This is from January 16 to January 17. So they look at this. So some researchers got together and they looked at overdose deaths for a year in 2016, 2017 for 12 months. What they found in the United States alone, the top drug that killed somebody was an opioid, synthetic opioid, followed by heroin, and that's all of America combined. And in Maryland, you can see that we've got a big overdose problem in Maryland. And it's very unfortunate. What doesn't make their list, as you can see, is cannabis. So here it is looking at it in a bar chart. Opioids, heroin. Now this one's cocaine. Heroin, marijuana. 0 overdose deaths in America. Now, recently there was some lady who said she OD'd on cannabis, and then the coroner said, yeah, it was marijuana was the issue. But that was to get the news talking about that. It's just not true. People are not ODing on marijuana. It's just not the case. And that's what these charts are showing. Marijuana, yes, is getting much stronger now that people are doctoring with it. And you've got children who are getting into it by accident because it's shaped like gummies, but people are not overdosing on marijuana. So, can anyone tell me how to tell if it's male or female? So that's when you would turn to page 8 in your book, and you could take a look to see the difference on page 8. A male plant has no buds. So when you're getting that plant, if you buy weed, or if you ever go and look at weed, the male plant, it doesn't have buds on it. The female plant grows buds. So what you are smoking in terms of the THC content, it's associated with the female flower. So the ladies are giving us what we need in terms of cannabis consumption. So If pollinated, the female flower head develops seeds. Smokers hate seeds. They burn, and they also take away from the THC content of the female flower head. So in India, it was a norm to get rid of all the male plants in the field as they began to flower. All they wanted was the resin-rich, sterile female flower heads. So they would be out there getting rid of all that because they didn't want the seeds. So they had to get rid of the males. And here's a field of cannabis out in India. So until the late 1980s, cannabis and opium were legal in India, sold in government-run shops, and traded by the British East India Company. To comply with the global war on drugs, in 1985, India passed the controversial NDPS, Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substance Acts, which criminalized cannabis but failed to curb production and trafficking, which has boomed, reflecting increases in prices on the international market. This is a excerpt from your book where it's telling you about the history of how that all happened with cannabis, and about hash. Chakras, so this Indian hash is like some of the best hash in the world, is what this book is telling. And the people there consider cannabis a gift from God. And despite a change of course internationally, the debate on legalization in India is still at its baby stages. So chakras come from living cannabis plants. Hashish comes from harvested ones. So there's a difference. So some argue that true chakra comes only from the Himalayan region of India. Hashish made from the other countries using the same method, not considered true chakras. Now, in Amsterdam, you can go to these little shops called coffee shops, and they give you a menu just like at a restaurant, and you can look and see what kind of weed do I want. And they also have like hash on their menu, and you can take a look. Their hash selection is very limited. Hash is not as easily accessible anymore as what they used to be. And you can take your hash and then you can try to burn it, to see if it's to see the quality. That's what a lot of people do. So here's a woman, an example of a woman who's making hash. They go in there, they get it all on their bodies, and then they get all the moistures off the chemicals, and they rub their hands to get it off. And that's what travels the world and makes it to the people who consume hash in the Western world. It's these guys who are doing that. So they rub parts of the still living cannabis plants on their hands, then collect the resin from their palms. So, wow, a lot of germs also with that, if you think about it. So it's not enough time to turn the dried plants into hash before the snow came. So they just store it there like that. So in 1840, and this is currently present day also. In 1840, an Irish doctor working in India described how pure resin in India was made. So men dressed in leather dresses, they ran through the hemp field, brushed through the plants with all possible violence, and the resin sticks to the leather of what they're wearing, and then it's scraped off of their body, and then they knead it into balls. A still finer kind is collected by hand in Nepal. The leather attire is dispensed with, and the resin is gathered on the skins of the naked people who are out there gathering it. And these two videos here give you an example, so I encourage you to watch them. So resin is the most potent preparation derived directly from the plant hashish, and it's obtained by scraping the resin from the flower heads or rubbing the dried particles of resin. These are compressed to form a cake of yellow to dark brown hashish known as resin, or the higher quality finely sieved palm. This method ensures longer storage life by reducing potential for mold. So it looks like that. So you can have people who have like the regular flower of marijuana, and then they might top it off with resin to enhance the the effects of smoking cannabis. Cannabis oil is produced by repeatedly extracting hashish resin with alcohol. It can vary in color from green to yellow or colorless for pure concentration. 1 drop of oil can contain as much THC as 1 joint. So that's pretty strong. So, which method of cannabis has the highest concentration of THC? I ask you this because this is a test question. So I'm already coaching you and helping you in these lectures. So that's why you want to make sure you watch them. Cannabis oil is the method of cannabis production that has the highest concentration of THC. Cannabis oil, alcoholic, resin, or extract. It's higher than smoking it, higher than resin, higher than indoor grown skunk. Which plant produces seeds, male or female? We remember that. It was the female. Yes, the ladies. We smoke the ladies. You can sprinkle the seeds on your salad and breakfast cereal or mix them with your smoothie. I myself um, have hemp seeds and I mix those in my smoothies. It's a source of really good protein, actually. It tastes like sesame seeds, is what the book says. I don't really find that it has a strong sesame seed taste or not. It's just kind of seedy. And when you mix it in with your smoothies, and it has um, it has actually no taste. It just comes, you just taste the smoothies freely. So it's not a bad tasting seed at all, and it gives a lot of health benefits. And you can buy it at the HEB and natural grocery stores. They contain little to no cholesterol. 100 gram servings of seeds meets up to 63% of the recommended daily value of protein. So I'm getting a lot of protein in my body because just 100 grams gets pretty much all the protein you need for the day. So 2 tablespoons, which is about what I eat, is 160 calories and 1 gram of fiber. It contains 5 grams of carbohydrates. So it's pretty healthy, little powerful pack of seeds. Good fat. So 2 tablespoons of cannabis equals 10 grams of fat. Omega-3 fatty acids. It's a type of unsaturated fat that assists with energizing the brain and impairing its function. Omega-3 acids, it's super, super healthy. A lot and a lot of foods contain it, especially for brain health. And it prevents heart disease. It's high in magnesium. It's a mineral that helps to regulate blood pressure and blood sugar. And you can get that from 2 tablespoons of cannabis oil. So, but and the seeds, you need to be careful when eating the seeds because during harvesting it, it could come into contact with THC from the plant, and then you could ingest a high concentration of THC, which might cause you gastrointestinal issues if you do that. But what you're buying at the grocery store, the chance of that is little to none. So in Canada, they regulate the seeds used for consumption to make sure the THC content is low. So, battle of the superfoods. Which seed is healthier, hemp, chia, or flax seeds? Well, hemp wins when it comes to protein. It contains all essential amino acids. Amino acids must come from your diet because your body can't make them on your own. You can Google more about amino acids if you want to know more, but it's very essential to every process of your body. They are the building blocks of life. So basically, when you eat that chicken breast, your body breaks it down into amino acids, where it forms proteins that get to work in your body doing various tasks like building and repairing a muscle after a workout. And so hemp has all that in it, the hemp seeds. So chia and hemp win with magnesium, and chia is also a good source of calcium. So hemp isn't the miracle plant in terms of being able to have all health benefits because flax seeds, because chia also has some benefits in terms of magnesium and calcium. And chia also wins when it comes to fiber. So when you're talking about amino acids, hemp is your plant. And amino acids are super important. So you kind of want to do like a little bit of everything if you're needing calcium and magnesium and fiber and whatnot in your diet. So flax seeds beat both hemp and chia because it has lignans, phytochemicals linked to breast and prostate cancer prevention. Flax seeds need to be eaten grounded up. Hemp and chia can be eaten whole. So answer all the seeds featuring something unique and advantages to health a doctor might suggest to patients that it's okay to include all the seeds in moderation in your diet, but be mindful to the calorie intake. So what I do is I put my 2 teaspoons in my smoothie. I with has all my fruits and some vegetables in it, and almond milk and hemp milk, and then I top it off with some honey, 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds, and I put some like 1 tablespoon of flax seeds. But I don't use the flax seeds every single day. But I do a 2 to 1 for hemp and flax seeds, and I don't use chia seeds. Um, no reason in particular why I don't, but I just so I keep it to hemp and flax seeds, and I use ground flax seeds. So that concludes my slideshow. I want to stop sharing my screen. I want to find Zoom. Stop screen share. Okay, there we are. So those are a little. That's a non. That's a way to incorporate cannabis into your diet, because a lot of people, as soon as they think of cannabis, they immediately think of smoking cannabis, and I actually would never recommend to you to smoke cannabis, not whatsoever. If you're going to, because of the health impact on your lungs, even though we'll learn later, it's really smokers. It's really people who smoke cigarettes who have it worse, and then followed by cannabis smokers. But still, as somebody who has a severe respiratory disorder, smoking is just not something that I would, and being a public health expert, like in good faith, recommend to anyone. Um, Nowadays, you have a great selection of gummies, especially in Colorado and in California, with THC in it, if that's what you desire. In Amsterdam, the edible selection is not that great. Believe it or not, America far surpasses Amsterdam in that respect. But the problem with the edibles is, like, once you take it, like, you're on for that roller coaster ride and you can't get off. So I actually don't like, for me personally, don't want to consume either one, because I don't like those effects. But if you are somebody who wants um, to use and experience the psychoactive effects, you might want to, for your health, choose ingesting it using an edible than smoking it. However, if you're not somebody who wants those, you want just the health benefits without the getting high feeling, there's many other ways to do that. So that's with the hemp oil, with CBD, and with which has low levels THC in it. And as you can see with food, with hemp seeds that you can get from your local grocery store, and you can easily incorporate that into a very healthy daily diet. And that's something that I do and I live by, and I find it works for me. So just figure out what works for you and go for it. But to summarize everything, what we spoke about today, marijuana is one of the biggest used drugs out there, and it's been around for ages. And hashish is made by rubbing. When you smoke, you are smoking the female plant and not the male plant, because and seeds are good, not for smoking, but to put in your smoothie. It packs a huge punch and can outbeat a lot of the traditional seeds that we're using. So that rounds it out for today's lecture. I will see you guys next week. Take a look in your folder, watch the videos, keep up with your work, and we'll have a great time in this class. I look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.